Coach, if you would, go ahead and start with some opening thoughts both on BYU and then Air Force.
Well, congratulations, and what an amazing atmosphere. Really impressed. I've had an opportunity to play at some pretty major SEC schools, and I don't think they matched how loud that place was and the intensity that fan base brought. It was a great environment. You can't simulate a football game, and I think early on we kind of stubbed our toe a little bit, and then we kind of got our breath, and I thought we did some really good things after that. I thought we played some phenomenal defense, and offensively, we just seemed like we were always playing uphill. Early in the game, it might have been the first or second drive, we had a first down that was called back because of a misofficiated play. They called our player blocking downfield when he was running a route, and their player engaged our player first. So now instead of 1st and 10 from the 45, you're now backed up and you have to punt. And so just we had a number of those kind of plays that really, kind of set us back. Offensively, I think a lot of people want to, point a finger at Keegan Shoemaker. He actually did a lot of really good things. A quarterback's best friend is a run game. We struggled running the ball. That is a legitimate Division I high-level defense, especially how they are built up front and how they stop the run game. And so that was a problem. And then, another best friend of a quarterback is having a big X receiver into the boundary. And so when they're giving you some opportunities there, even though I think, Jay Rockwell played well and is going to be a really good football player, losing Quavez Humphreys was a huge loss for us. We think Quavez is going to be one of the best receivers in the country. 6'3", 220, runs incredibly. Love those 50-50 balls with him. So, that losing him with a broken foot just prior to the start of, this game was a big hit for us. Keegan did a good job getting the ball away. He managed the offense well. He handled the pressure well. Statistically, you looked at he had 3 interceptions, but one of those interceptions was on a Hail Mary at the end of the game, and the other interception was in the end of the third quarter, which was a missed refereed play. The ball hit the ground. We saw it in front of 65,000 people in the stadium, and then we went back, and I still don't understand. I haven't gotten a reason why they couldn't review that play properly, because on Fox Sports, they had that play, and the ball hit the ground, so that's a feed that they should have. And then also something's called the All-22. In other words, it's a copy that we use from the end zone from the side. Our copy and BYU's copy both showed the ball hit the ground, and BYU's copy is used in replay also. So I'll be interested to see, what they come up with. I asked for a formal explanation of that play. Play to the end. But at the same time, we walked off that field goal and we missed an opportunity. That was a game that we could have won, and I don't think a lot of people gave us a chance to win, but we have a good football team. Doesn't get any easier this week. You have a team that in the last, 3 seasons, when you take out the COVID year, has won the 7th most ball games in the country. They have 30 wins during those 3 seasons. And there's only 6 teams above them. So this is a team that's used to winning, plays great defense. A lot of moving parts on offense right now because they lost, their best running back and their starting quarterback. But you could see for opening day, they did a pretty good job. You don't see the triple option under center very often. And when you do, you have to prepare specifically for that. I was blessed that I had chances to play against Navy and against Kennesaw and against Georgia Southern. And so usually my defense has come up with a pretty good plan to, at least understand what we're up against. But it's going to be a great challenge. Like I said, this is a team that took Baylor apart 6 months ago or 7 months ago in a bowl game. This is a very good football team. And, we know that it's going to be, a 4-quarter game. And, they play great defense, and it's a tough offense to stop, and we're gonna be challenged all game long. But like I said, I think we leave that BYU game disappointed, but with the understanding that, anyone on our schedule we can beat. And that's kind of the mindset we have. So, questions?
All right, we'll go ahead and go to questions. We'll start with Tyler Shaw.
Yeah, Coach, you guys left disappointed, but are you any more concerned with your offense after Saturday, or are you still in the mindset that, those things are fixable through?
Well, yeah, you wish you had scored some points, obviously. I think the one big mistake Keegan made was down there in the red zone when he kind of forced the ball. And I thought the defender made a great play, but he left the ball hanging inside, should have been outside. So that was a play that defender couldn't have made. So we got that interception in the end zone. But, when you have a run game and you just lost your best receiver, he did some really good things. And, there's a reason why we went with Keegan first. And I'm a guy that when we decide on who the quarterback is, I'm going to give them a little rope to work this thing out. I don't want my quarterbacks looking over their shoulder. They don't. History will show you that they don't play well that way. But again, we will not play a defense like that up front. That was as physical a defense as we'll see. That is a legitimate Big 12 defense in terms of physicality and up front. And if you look at what they did in the transfer portal, I wasn't overly impressed with what they did offensively in the transfer portal. I was very impressed with what they did in the defense in terms of the transfer portal. They had 6 defensive linemen that all could play inside. That's hard to find. And they kept on rotating, we kept on coming after. So struggled running the football. And again, if we could have run the football better. And like I said, we kept on playing from behind. It was like we just couldn't get a break. We just couldn't get that field position. We just couldn't get that going. And then again, the one time we had great field position, we made a mistake there. But we play a defense that's very good this week. And I think our kids know that, we got to play clean to get some points this week because, again, you're playing against one of the better defenses in the country year in and year out.
Carlos.
Coach, on the flip side of that, looking at the defense for you guys, it was no secret that defense out there last Saturday looked FBS ready. How do you continue to build upon that? Are there still any areas of concern going against Air Force?
Well, Air Force is more of a scheme. It's just you don't see that every day. And, you need to prepare specifically for that offense, specifically for what they're going to do. So, but, I love our talent defensively. I think we're deep, at linebacker, in the secondary. And actually, our defensive line played pretty well, kind of like too deep. And again, I like our personnel offensively. But I just think I won't say the mismatch, but the matchup was I thought they were really, really good up front defensively, and that showed. And we just couldn't get that run game going. And anytime, you can't get a run game going, that's going to put a lot of pressure on your quarterback. But I think we walk away from the game disappointed, but I think we walk away from the game going, there's not a team on this schedule that we should be afraid of. There's not a team on the schedule that we don't think we can go and compete toe-to-toe with. And, I have to give a lot of credit to the staff for doing a great job recruiting because I think our talent level is at a pretty good level at a very, relatively short period of time. And I think it's only going to keep on getting better.
Coach, you mentioned getting the run game going. Air Force held Robert Morris to 43 yards last week. How do you kind of get it going against a team that showed that they're able to kind of stop the run?
Yeah, they do a great job. They're very sound. They when they fit those things perfectly. The hope is athletically, size, skill set. They're not what we just saw from BYU. Like I said, I thought BYU did a phenomenal job in the portal. The defensive linemen they got, the guys they got in the secondary. I thought they, when I was looking at players, I'm like, they're getting the right ones here, and it showed. That will be a very good defense. I got some guys on my staff. One of my quality control guys played at Virginia Tech, and he said, better defense than West Virginia when they played West Virginia. He goes, that's a legitimate, very good Big 12 defense. And I think they are. I think that's going to be the strength of their team this year. I thought their defensive coordinator did a great job against us, gave us a lot of things that we didn't see. And that's one of the challenges going into game one is you can go back and look at all the Weber State film that you can possibly find. But he changed a lot of stuff. He wasn't, the vanilla team that he was at Weber State. There was a lot more intricacy to what they did. And I thought they played. I thought it was a great game plan against. I thought they played very aggressively, and they have the guys that can do it. So, game one is typically a game where you're trying to figure some things out. I think their defensive coordinator did a really good job not showing what he had been, his bread and butter at Weber State. He did a number of things that were sort of, different that we might not have practiced or might not have seen in tape prior to getting into the BYU game.
Benjamin.
Coach, I had the opportunity to see y'all in the spring and fall take some time out of practices to work on the triple option, that Air Force offense. How important has that time been as y'all taken the past couple months?
Yeah, really, a lot of it is just getting base terminology down. What are you calling certain formations, certain motions? Making sure that you have a body for a body. You're matching up. You don't ever let them get overloaded and all of a sudden you're short people. And I could see practice one, it's paid off. I felt like we were ahead on practice one from a lot of times that I've faced this. So we've spent a lot of time, and then you don't go all in because you got to still see what they're doing this year. And it's brand new quarterback. Wasn't even a quarterback last year. Was one of their, I think, B backs. And not sure how much they're reading the triple as much as he's just a phenomenal athlete. And they're going to put him in space. And I could see a lot of quarterback draws. I could see a lot of fake toss and bootlegs. I could see a lot of things that they get the ball into his hand on the perimeter or straight down the chute because he is very fast and very athletic. So, it's a little different variation to what they were doing. If you think about this, this is a team that has, a success, a pedigree to it. And I think they feel, confident-wise, they're just going to plug that next guy in. And I think that's what you saw when they played Robert Morris. It was just, let's plug the next guy in. And I thought they played with a lot of confidence. I thought they played very well. And doesn't seem like they skipped a beat.
Right. Tyler.
Yeah, Coach, you've played at NRG before. Just kind of what are your thoughts on that venue? I mean, do you like that kind of atmosphere for these kind of games?
Oh, absolutely. It gives us almost like a homecoming South. It's a great opportunity for recruiting. We can bring recruits to this game. It's a great opportunity in recruiting in terms of when you talk to the players that are on our roster. That's one of the things we talk to them about is you get a chance to go down to Houston and play in the NFL Stadium. We've drawn well there in the past. So yeah, there's a lot to like about playing a neutral site game, but it's a home game. And so yeah, we're excited. Plus, you can draw an Air Force. You can draw some teams in that want to play in Houston because of the recruiting. So again, I think it's a win-win for us. And we've played well there, and I have, knock on wood, I've been fortunate not to lose a game in that venue. Our players are definitely looking forward to, kind of a homecoming South.
Dalton.
Air Force threw the ball 3 times against Robert Morris. Just how hard is it to kind of game plan for something when they're just going to continue to run the ball and can kind of catch you off guard with that pass?
Yeah, and that's something we talked a lot about on the field today. Eye violations. That's how they're going to get you. Even I can get the ball out there to a guy who's wide open. Just shot put it out there. It doesn't really matter how talented his skill set is in terms of throwing the football. It's when they're wide open, most guys can get the ball there. And that's what happens. You just come downhill, and then all of a sudden they go to block you, and then they're behind you. And so, it's really going to be critical for us. We have to do everything possible to stop the run, but we also can't give them those cheap plays, those cheap touchdowns, those cheap chunk plays. And again, that's part of this offense, is making you commit to the run, making you fight over those blocks, and then as you're fighting over a block, they just release you, and now they're downfield, and that's how they get big plays. But, it did not surprise me that they didn't throw the ball a lot. Again, we're taking a athlete and putting him at quarterback versus the quarterback who has been the backup the last 3 years there. They decided to put an athlete there and tweak the offense a little bit. So I think we'll see 3 to 5 passes this week too. And I think we'll see a lot of quarterback run because, they have a really talented athlete at the quarterback spot.
Benjamin.
Coach, we saw a couple guys on the defensive side leave the game. Do you have any update on their status or what their availability might be?
Yeah, I think for the most part, we should be okay getting everyone back. It's just a lot of treatment. Some guys might not practice a bunch, but everyone wants to play in this game. And it's just going to be, how treatment goes and those kind of things. But the one thing I'll tell you is that this is as deep a team maybe as we've had here. And so we can survive an injury or two where a guy might miss a ball game or two because we do have a lot of depth. And I feel good about the depth, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And offensively, there's a couple positions where I feel good. I think that's one of the things we need to do is that we have a very young group of offensive linemen that we feel really good about, but they're probably another year away. But we have to develop the depth on offense now. That's going to be the key for us in the future because we know 12-game schedule with the kind of people we're playing, you need to have depth.
Right, Ben Pack.
Hey, Coach, I know on the field goal, y'all had that penalty to take the blocked field goal back, but played a pretty clean game penalty-wise, it seemed, for the most part. How do you, I guess, especially when the offense isn't going, what do you talk to your guys about, not necessarily still trying to play within the lines and not going out of your way, either penalty-wise or putting yourself out of position to try to make the big play to give yourself a spark? And just kind of still trying to let the game come to you best you can.
Yeah, great point. So, one of the things we talk about is to do your job. Do your 1/11th. Don't do more than what is expected of you because that's when you get in trouble. That's when you try to do something out of the designation of the scheme where you put all of us in harm's way because now you're trying to make a play and you put yourself in harm's way of getting beat. And so we talk a lot about is just stay in the course and just, live within your rules and, trust the guy next to you. As long as you do those things, I think we can have a really sound defense. And, like I said earlier, it just felt like we were playing uphill a lot offensively where we just couldn't get that break where we got that, if the interception that wasn't an interception is called properly, we pin them down, and hopefully we're going to get great field position and give us an opportunity. Instead, that's where they got great field position themselves, and they made it a 14-point ball game. So, it's just you can't get frustrated. You just got to, stay within your rules and keep on playing the game. And, again, I thought our defense did a great job of doing that. I've not been involved in many games offensively where we didn't score a point and you felt like you did some pretty good things offensively. That's really unusual. And, the object is to win. And so we didn't win, and so we're not happy. But I did see some good things. I told them, I said, post-game, my whole talk with them is that there's no moral victories here. We're too accomplished. Our mindset was we were going to go beat BYU. And I think we should have. I think, possibly we might have had the better team. We just had to play a little bit cleaner. But there will be no moral victories here. That's not how we operate. But we know there's a great challenge in front of us, and it doesn't get any easier by going and playing, Air Force.
Dalton.
Coach, I know you said you're not the type of guy to kind of have a quarterback looking over his back, but is there any chance, you might make a change during the Air Force game?
Oh, there's a chance that you would, make a change anytime. I could have made a change in the BYU game if I didn't think that, Keegan was giving us the best opportunity. But like I said, when we looked at the totality of the game and the circumstances he was put in, we thought he actually did some really good things. Did he make some mistakes? Absolutely. Was their defense at a really high level? Absolutely. And not being able to run the football hurt us. Getting some of those first downs and being able to chip away a little bit, getting some better field position. Those are all things that would have made this a little bit more successful day offensively. But I just evaluate the game as it's going, and I'm constantly talking to all the coaches, and we all felt that he was doing some good things there. Again, they had some pretty good players out there, and they even though I thought we protected pretty well, they were making us get that ball off a hair earlier, and we were in a lot of second and third and longs versus second and third and shorts, which changes the whole statistical output of your quarterback. Third and three is a different world than third and seven. It just is. And so, again, one of the things we talked about is we have to find ways to run the football better to take that pressure off the quarterback.